Alright, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to the moth-hawk project. And today we're going to be finishing off the first color, and then we're going to be continuing with the rest of the colors so that we finally have a good, no, words, come on. I know the words. Good comparison? No. A good way to, divide all the colors so that they look natural to the words. The bird. There you go. I don't know if that was correctly implemented, but it's good enough. So time for me to say that. All right, cool. So yeah, let's get started on this, and let's do this. So yeah, today we're gonna be working on this part of the section, and then we're gonna and then we're gonna fix the color problem. So we're gonna add some more variety to the wing part, to the wing parts, so that the color scheme is the same but a little bit different than normal. So yeah, today was a good day. I did actually a lot of productive work for the stream. Not for this stream, but for the other stream that's gonna be following. And I realized that I'm actually quite good at working for 3 hours straight, and then damn it, I don't have the right. There you go. Didn't have the right eraser selected. So yeah, I did actually pretty good upon what I wanted to do in the first place. So the only thing is that I need to make sure that now the face is gonna be good. So I did the part where you need the I did the sketching part. Now I need to fix the face fully. Of course that's gonna be taking a while, but I think I will make it till tomorrow. Oh no, not till tomorrow. Till this weekend. Yes. I am a little bit out of words here. So yeah. Sad news though, the snow here is actually gone now. Fully gone. It has been a little bit too hot. Oh well, was fun until it lasted. Well, it lasted. There you go. Yeah. So today we're going to be working on this, and then hopefully, we will be able to get to the second color on time. Well, I hope at least I will be. So yeah. We're just going to be working here on this feather. Yep. So the idea here is that these colors need to be fixed. And I said that I needed to do that, so I will do it. I always uphold my promise when I do something. Also, I need to realize that I need to work for my, I need to redo my portfolio as well. So I will be doing that. Gonna need to make a portfolio about, all the stuff that I need. So yeah, gonna do making a portfolio. Not like those, good portfolios where you have everything written down. No, just a fancy portfolio. The one where everything is explained in fancy colors and lots of emblems and all that stuff. That jazzy stuff when, you advisable card? Probably that is the one. The card that you get, the representation card, the card that you actually give away to people. That kind of an idea. So I made it once, so I probably will be able to do it again. And so I will. So the idea here is actually that I'm trying to do whatever I need to do, and that's just coloring these things. So yeah. It's gonna be taking a time here. Just taking my time to fix these things up. So yeah. So this is what I'm gonna be doing. Hopefully it's not that boring. Nah, should not be. So it's just, you know, it's really relaxing. Most of the things that I try to do here is actually just getting these feathers fixed, so it's not too much of a pressure here. Normally when I work on the other projects, you know, the one that I try to prep for the stream, it's a little bit more difficult than this moth-hawk project. The main issue is that I actually need to I have like a set timer, and I also have a set timer on this, but this takes like far more longer because I only can work on it when I do the streams, so it takes a little bit more time. Next time if I want to do a project and I won't stream it, you know, it's faster than this. So yeah. So trying to do this, trying to get everything done, getting the outlines done, getting the drawing done, you know, all that stuff. It's necessary. What I'm gonna be doing anyway is that let's see, the drawing that I'm gonna be doing, so the one that, you know, that I'm gonna be doing for prepping to get the outro, the intro done, all that stuff, that's gonna be taking a long time, but it will be worth it because of all the stuff that, you know, it's gonna be introducing. I also want to know if, like, you know, if I set the outro on, if that will work fully. Probably. Don't know if I can put it on a repeat or something, but I will find a way how to do that and then, you know, use it. I mean, obviously this is like a lot of stuff doing. This is like really hard to do. The main reason why this is a little bit more difficult than the other one is just the time. The time is 1 hour. Try to keep it on that, and then, you know, continue forward. You can actually see how well it goes, or how well it looks, and we're almost halfway. You know, we're almost there. We're almost at the end goals, but there are still some things that need to be done. Like for instance, these feathers here, they need to be colored. They need to be having these nice little things before I can do the shading. It's really boring when you look at a feather. It's really boring to look at a bird and you see only gray stuff. Gray stuff? No, that's not the word. If you only see bland colors, it's very boring to see a bird that is only bland colors. And most likely birds have a way of a pattern, like in their feathers, like they have some outstanding things like a beak, or well, most likely birds express themselves through feathers, and you know, the female is most likely the one that has less color in it, less coloration. I don't know how it goes with American eagles, but I believe they have like this neck, and the females actually have a gray one, and the baldy and the other one has a white feather coat. I don't know, or it has to do with the beak itself, like, you know, orange. I know, for instance, that babies are triggered by the babies of seagulls are actually triggered by the beaks of their parents, the red dots on it, which is quite interesting. So if the red dot is missing, which is gonna happen after, you know, a certain time goes off, the child can no longer be fed because of the red dot is gone. And then it's time for himself to get out of the nest and feed for himself, I believe. So yeah. Anyway. So the idea here is that I'm trying to do my very best on getting these feathers correctly done, or well, at least a bit decent colored. Which sometimes is hard, trust me. It sometimes is really hard to do these things. Most likely because the amount of, concentration I need to do. My head is like sometimes not happy doing these things. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. Just working on this and then getting further to it. I mean, obviously this is not the best, drawing ever. But it's getting there, Art, if you rush it, it will be bad. If you don't work too long on it, it will be bad. It all depends on how you view it. If you don't use your feathers, if you don't use your art correctly, it doesn't look well. So yeah. So now, since that we're working on these beautiful feathers, we're just gonna be making sure that all these feathers are correctly done. Of course, some of them are maybe a little bit missing here, but this will create a good effect. I'll tell you that. So yeah. Any good information, that, well, this is actually good information that the snow is now gone. That means that there is no gonna be only wetness, so that means that there's gonna be only rain. Lots of rain though, but rain nonetheless. And rain is actually quite good for the plants. Though it is cold rain. I don't know if actually trees can be having problems when they're fed cold rain instead of non-cold. If you serve a tree ice cold water, would it like it? I imagine it not, because it might have a problem with accepting ice cold water, but it should not be that problematic. I know that if you feed a tree the wrong kind of water, then yes, it has a problem. Like unnourished water with terrible nutrition in it, or poison. The tree can actually die from that. But I don't know if it has actually any other things like that, cold water. I imagine, like, if you feed yourself some cold water, you probably have that same experience, like, instant cold, like, it's cold water. So I would say, like, the tree also would react the same. Though it might not be. It's really hard to tell if a tree can react to ice cold water, because you don't see if it feels anything. But it should be reacting to it, I hope. Probably in the roots itself you can see it happening. If the roots itself react to it, then yes, the tree actually has a natural reaction to ice cold water. Otherwise it doesn't. Which means that, a lot of critters can actually react to ice cold water, it's hypothermic shock. That's a thing. And I don't know if that then is also a thing to a tree. So could a tree be shocked? I don't know. That's actually a quite cool thing to find out, To find out if a tree actually can be getting hypothermia. Probably not. I don't know. Because, it doesn't have well, technically it does have a nervous system. Difficulties. since that the roots serve as a nervous system. So technically, could a tree get a brain freeze? Yes, it could, if I'm correct. So if the tree has like problems with, you know, ice cold water, it could get a brain freeze, right? So the ice cold water actually causes the tree to freeze up some of the parts. That would be quite interesting to see. A tree with ice cold, a tree that is actually getting a brain freeze because he drank too much cold water. I imagine that it is not a. I imagine it's not the case in spas. I don't know how you say those in English. The trees with needles. Yeah, needle trees. There you go. Needle trees. Fuck it. Easy words. Yeah. So the needle trees are actually highly adapted to dry climates and terrible nutrition. They also store fat in their fat reserve in their leaves, which makes them survive winter very good. That's why always the fat reserves, once they are used, the needles actually fall off. So yeah, leaf trees don't do that. Leaf trees actually absorb all the energy that they have left behind from the leaves before the winter. And needle trees are like, no, I'll keep them. I'll keep them and I will just chew on them because they don't go away. Also, the seeds are less energy requirement, so that the seeds of a needle tree is actually very low, since that leaf trees actually need energy to produce their seeds, and leaf trees, well, every tree needs to, but leaf trees actually have need higher energy consumption to do so. That's why they only do it at I guess say. That's why they only do it at the summer and springtime. That they bloom, so that there will be a flower there. The main idea of needle trees is actually that they are actually the most adaptable trees, if I'm correct. So they are the most adaptable tree in the of the tree species, and therefore they could actually withstand a lot of things. Sadly, they cannot do, and sadly they have one weakness. Trees, for instance, normal leaf trees are actually quite less suspected. They're less vulnerable. There you go. Words are easy. They're less vulnerable to highly amounts of terrible weather, like acid rain. That's why leaf trees are actually, in that case, leaf trees are less vulnerable to it.
The wishing tree.
Go away. So yeah. The leaf trees are actually less susceptible towards it, and they actually can deal with acid. They can deal with acid rain, where the needle trees actually can because of their roots. Oh, hello, Mark. Nice to see you. So yeah, the idea of that certain types of trees are have less trouble with terrible weather is actually quite funny to see that the most highly adaptable tree has actually terrible roots, because acid goes down through the root and then gets absorbed, but because the roots of a leaf tree are less vulnerable towards it, they can sustain it better, and needle trees can't. The needle tree actually will lose in places like volcanic situations. They are not very hard. They're not very hardy or sturdy. They actually most likely die because of it. Where the leaf tree is like, it's just acid. Who cares? So yeah, it's actually quite fascinating to see that such things can exist. So yeah, been working on this now already 20 minutes in, and we're getting there. Trust me, we're almost there. We only need to go up there and then down there, and we're there. We're halfway there. So yeah. Ugh. What let's talk about now? I talked about trees. Talk about that needle trees actually have terrible rooting, which cause them to be more vulnerable to acid, which is true. That's why, at our places we actually plant trees near the highway, and they're gonna be, they're not gonna be, needle trees. They're gonna be leaf trees because the leaf trees are actually better rooted and can deal with acid rain. If you look at the forests near our highways, they most likely have this problem, especially the needle trees. You can see that they all have like only the top part of them has still leaves on them, which is an indication that there has been acid rain falling there. It doesn't matter that much that acid rain is a thing, but it does matter for the needle tree because it really gets hurt because of the low amount of, I think it was low amount of root hair. Yes, I think that's the word. If it's not a word, then I mean the thing that grows on the roots. The roots actually possess a microscopical hair, which is used to absorb the nutrition into the tree. And needle trees don't have many. They are very good at absorbing it, so they drain a lot, but they don't have a lot. And acid actually then, destroys them. Therefore, the tree can no longer gain the nutrition. Therefore, the tree dies. That's how it goes. So yeah, I hope that makes it clear what I was saying. I hope that makes a lot of sense. I hope so. I hope I did not talk gibberish right there, but I believe that's what about trees I know. I know the difference of types of trees. I know the difference that they make and how they produce. And I know that there are some less vulnerable to climate change than others. But yeah. So yeah, the rain is gonna be coming soon again in our country. It's gonna be lovely. It's gonna be raining all day. Frog country for the win. So yeah, the country of frogs. The funny thing is actually the frogs in our country actually. The funny thing about the frogs in the country is that they are migrating most of the times in the spring. Yes, in the spring and summer, they migrate. We actually developed a special kind of method of making sure that the frogs don't die on the way in. So we made a little we made a fence around. We actually make a lot of fences around the highways and provide an alternative path towards the lake they like to lay their eggs in, so that they don't get squished by cars. Because frogs don't know that cars exist, alright? They just see something coming in and then they go splat. So yeah. I'm very happy we designed that. I'm very happy we made something that so that those frogs can actually do their job. Because frogs are indeed very handy dandy in the environment. They feed a lot of critters. So yeah. The funny thing is actually, in our province, yes, province, that is a part of a country. In our province, we actually released beavers back in. Alright? So, beavers are these big giant beasts that like to chew on wood. Well, since that we don't have yet, since that we have a little bit of a lack of predators, in our ecological system, like wolves, for instance, those are indeed predators. It means that the beaver was like, oh, you have a nice little forest there. Allow me to just make a lot of problems in that beautiful forest of yours. Because, you know, the beaver likes to make their own damn home. So, a lot of farmers complained about that they actually ruin a lot of trees nearby. And eventually they actually ruined lots of waterways. So they made natural dams, which we didn't want, and therefore in certain parts we didn't want those dams, those natural dams, because the farmers were actually using them to feed their crops, the water in those parts. So then, you know, the government was like, how are we dealing with this problem? And they were like, I don't know. Find a way. Yes, find a way. So that's actually why we actually have now the wolf back in our country. It's not yet fully back, of course, but we have wolves. All right, we have wolves again. Which means that the beavers are gonna have their natural predator. But until then, the government is actually busy keeping those beavers out of the troubly places that they don't want to go into. So they tranquilize them and then, you know, move them to a place or a resort where they can live happily ever after, so that they don't bother the farmers that are using these things to keep up with their stuff. Also, a lot of waterways are actually used by the government themselves, so not only the farmers, but also the government is pissed off by that, by those beavers. That's why they had to do it. That's why they moved them. Otherwise, you know, the beavers would have been easy with no problems at all. I mean, really, the amount of beavers that are in the areas right now, I believe there are a couple of. It was 1,000? Yes, probably 1,000 already. Because technically the beaver is an endangered species in our country. So that means that, you know, you cannot hunt it. So yeah. I'm happy that the beavers are making a comeback. I am so sorry for the people that are getting troubled by those things, but hey, you know, beavers are beavers. You cannot tell them to not make a dam, come on. It's a dam. That's what beavers do. They build a dam and they make a home out of it. Which is quite cool. Of course, beavers are not picky on where to place them. Normally, technically they would do it where the fish is, so... I don't know. Wait, hold on. Are beavers eating fish? No, they should not. They should eat grubs, right? Because their teeth are not suited for fish. Their big giant claw and well, they are. That's a difficult question. I believe they are only eating grubs, if I'm correct. Don't know that much. Never seen beavers eat before, so that's why I am second guessing here. So yeah, we're almost there, which is great. I mean, really, it's really great because that means that we're getting close to the end goal. That's so nice. So yeah, the main idea of these beavers, you know, they're good. They're lovely things, and I'm happy that we're having them back because holy hell, We didn't have them until from the ninth from the ninth century. We didn't have any beavers because pelts were a thing. It's also very funny that we actually have a diverse kind of creatures, diverse kind of creatures in our country and in our province, of course. One of the most endangered species in the country we have is the wolf, and it's very important that we keep that thing alive because holy hell, you don't want to have deer and beavers going all over the place. And trust me, beavers can reproduce really fast. So do deer. So yeah, that's the thing. Now let's continue. What were we? Where were we? We were wolves, beavers. Let's move upwards. Wolf. Yeah, whales. Let's go for whales. Normally, we don't have whales in our country. But sometimes we get those whales that are, stranded and can no longer come back. Which happens sometimes, whales that get stranded. The good news about the whales is, well, the bad news is they die most likely because we have no capability of moving a whale back into the sea. The good news is, though, we are actually very ahead of research on those things. I'm very happy that we always have these skeletons of whales in our museums hanging around, which is quite cool. I know that we have like sperm whale, normal whales, but no orcas, so that's quite cool. But yeah, the amount of fossils or skeletons, skeleton museums are actually high. The national museums in our country are always about animals, I believe. We even have a whole expedition of exotic animals musea. So we have like museums that are only about exotic animals of other countries. We have museums about science. We have museums about dinosaurs and animals, and those are really cool to look at. All the fossils that are there. Also, we have paintings, museums about paintings, which apparently is very famous. I don't know why, but it's funny to see that there is a painting museum, and there are a couple, if I believe, which is quite cool. And well, I know why we have those painting museums, but I normally don't go to a painting museum because I'm a little bit I want to see something instead of watching a painting. I'm not that kind of a art fan about watching paintings. Why should I watch a painting when I can see an animal and see how their skull and their feet are looking and how they are positioned? That's way more cooler than just a painting. Don't get me wrong, paintings are great, but not when you have more than just paintings. If I choose between paintings or a museum about history, I would rather go for a history museum. I did that in what was it? Portugal? Yes, I did that in Portugal. I did that in Slovakia. I went to museums in not in a lot of places, most likely in our own damn country, but there are a lot of things that you can see. I believe that also we actually went to a museum, an interactive scientific museum in Belgium, which was also very cool, where they explained up how volcanoes work and how typhoons and cyclones actually are created. And then you had these experiments how to do it yourself, which was really cool. I must admit, I was a little bit of like, oh my god, this is like the bomb. They even had an attraction about how you ride the lava slide, just a lava slide, and then you have this big giant car where you need to go into, and then you need to ride away from the lava slide, which was quite cool. So yeah, I like it that we are like really close to Germany, really close to Belgium, because you know those places also have lots of things to see. I remember that back in the day, we actually I already went no well not back in the day, but I already went to 3 times to the same amusement park. All right, I went 3 times already to the same amusement park, and that thing is not a tiny one. All right, it's the biggest of the biggest amusement park in the whole damn Europa. So this thing is huge. The attractions are always up to date, are very cool, and they are awesome. The funny thing is actually it's called Europa Park, which means, you know, it's from Europe, and technically all the nations, all the iconic, iconic things about a nation are in this amusement park. So you know that the Dutch did piracy and all that stuff, and beer and celebration and yar yar yar. So yeah, we have stuff like that. We also have like the carousel, which is technically very famous in our country. The carousel is one of the things that every little child knows because it's always there. Then we also have like oliebollenkraam, which is like a really good tasty meal you can get. It's like these dough dough fried um, dough fried, how do you say, dough fried dough, yeah, fried dough, and then it looks like a ball, so it's like a round thing with a really tasty crust, and you can put sugar on it, which makes it even better, or you can put um, cherry sauce in it, which is also very good. So just look at it as a donut, but then more tasty. I know how donuts taste, so oh hey Space Junk, bye BitConnect. Hey Gemma Salami, nice to see you all. Why should I buy BitConnect? I think I had a good connection, right? I hope so, because otherwise I will switch to my OBS and I will show you my intro. Maybe I should have done that. Oh well, next time. Next time I will show you my intro, even though it's not finished yet. But I will put it in there. I will put only the soundtrack in it and then, you know, put an image or something like that. Something stupid like that may be good. Just need to make sure that I have the key bindings correct. So, yeah. So, where was I? Ah, yes. The oliebollenkraam. So yeah, there are like a lot of things that are like very famous in the Dutch in the Netherlands, and those are represented then in the amusement park, and all is paid by the government. So yeah, the government is like, here you have this and this and this kind of money, build these things, and then you represent our country. Thank you. So yeah, even Russia has some of it, or well, White Russia if I'm correct. So Russia even donated a old space station into that amusement park, which was really cool. You also have like Ferrari and the old Ferrari cards. You have even simulation of Ferrari cards, so that's also very cool. So there is a lot of things you can do there, which is quite cool. Then you also have things like fireworks shows in the end, which makes all things way better than before. Sadly though, it's in Germany, so it means that everybody is speaking German. But it doesn't matter because you can also speak English now, so it's not that big of a deal. And, you know, I can understand German a little bit good, so I don't mind speaking a little bit of German even though I'm not that great at it. But I'm good enough at it so that I don't get my ass kicked at saying, haha, you're speaking German? Well, too bad. Well, technically I'm very trash at it, but it's not that bad though. My German is not that bad, but I rather just want to listen. It's way easier. listening to someone who explains something in German, it's way easier. Unless they're using the difficult words that I not have learned. But after all, you can learn them. Especially if you're from especially if you're from the Netherlands, then it's easier because a lot of things are similar. Some things are definitely different. That means like because of the pronunciations and the way how the Dutch speak. The Dutch always speak literally, like really literally. So, for instance, hippomus or hippopotamus, right? The hippo. Well, we thought about it like, it's really hard to pronounce hippopotamus, alright? So what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna look for what is it? What does it represent? Well, technically it represents a horse. Technically the Greek word for it is river horse, alright? So where do you see it most likely? Alright, you see it most likely in the Nile. So we're gonna go to the Nile. And we're gonna combine the Nile with a horse. So technically the word for horse is a paard. And, well, the Nile is the Nile. So you put them together and you have a Nijlpaard. So it's a horse from the Nile. So yeah, that's how we do stuff. It's very smart moving. It's like, you have these words and you combine them and you make a whole new word. Ta-da! So you reference both words that you want to talk about, and then that's the word that you need. Most likely. That sums up Dutch. Yep, that sums up Dutch, definitely. It's quite fun to see like all these people talking and then you realize, yes, the Nijlpaard. Yes, it's a magnificent horse, all right. Definitely not a pig. Definitely not a pig. Also, like for instance, if you have like a Rheinhorn, right? It's a Rheinhorn. All right, that's a word. But we have like a very easy word for a Rheinhorn. You know that it has a horn, right? All right. And where is the horn located? Well, it's on his nose. So you're gonna say it's a nose horn. See? Easy. It's just putting two words together and you have one word. Oh my god, it's so cool. So yeah, it's very smart thinking, man. It's very smart thinking. All right, I totally forgot. I need to not do this like this. I need to actually go downwards first, otherwise I will ruin it all. So yeah, the Netherlands, the Dutch language always likes to combine words. It's very funny. Like, how do you say this one? Come on. Let's see what kind of words we also have. Yes. So technically, if you want to go totally literal here, a lot of words like in the English tombstone is like, you have a tomb and there is a stone there, right? That's why you say it's a tombstone. Well, it's the same in Dutch because we like to talk literally here. So you have grave, which just means graf, yes, and you have a stone in your grave. So it means it's a stain in je graf. So combine the two words, graf, stain. There you go. Solved the damn problem. So yeah. What do you mean it's a tombstone? No, it means a grafsteen. There you go. It's easier. It's a rock that you put on somebody's grave. Very easy. Very, very literally. Because technically that's why you use it. So yeah. It's quite funny to see how well we actually implement those words. Or well, how much words we actually implement like that. And I mean there are a lot. And I mean like a lot, and I mean it really loud. So if you go for like something like if you go for something like champagne, right? That, of course, is not a word that we have invented. So it's not a Dutch word. And then you're gonna get the literally pronunciation that's almost close to English or French, wherever it comes from. So that's why the Dutch always use words in combination. So if you have like a champagne, champagne is champagne. It's just, different pronunciation. And if you go for champagne glass, it's still the same. So you have champagne glas. So it's quite funny that a lot of words that are borrowed, those words are really just, a little bit different placed and put and then done. Like barbecuing. Barbecue. If you barbecue something, it just means the same. Because we borrowed the word, so we cannot change it. We cannot make it into that weird language that we are talking, like the literal language. But yeah, words like carousel, carousel, yeah, carousel, carousel. Why do we call it a carousel? Well, because it's a karaoke machine, because it makes that noise, it makes that lovely noise that's in the organ, that makes that beautiful repetitive noise, and that's why it's called a carousel, because of the repeating wording, the repeating music that it plays. And then you have things like let's see. Yeah, let's go for that. That's easy. That's easy to explain. Wielrennen. So that's a thing in our. It's like biking. No, bicycle. Tour de France. Yeah, there you go. You have these bikes that people are having. The Tour de France. Well, we call it always wielrennen because technically you're running on a bike, so hey, that's why it's called wielrennen. But it's technically the wording for such sports like car racing, horse racing, and mountain and motocrossing are all rensports. Don't ask me how that is a thing. Don't ask me why people are running on this sport and how people are running in a car, but because it's called a rensport, that's why the word run is involved in wielrennen. That's the funny thing, because it's a sport, it's a rensport, and it is using the wheel part. That's why it is. All right. Let's take a look at it. Let's see how it looks. Oh my god, this looks way better. Ooh, this looks so much better. Ooh, I'm so happy that I did this. I am so happy I did this. I am so fucking happy right now. So, I want to thank you all for having such patience to wait for me to finish this off right now. And tomorrow we will be finishing off these beautiful, we're gonna add some more color in it, and hopefully it will be looking even more better than before. And so yeah, I just wanted the guys to show you one more thing before I leave. So there you go. Open this bad boy up so that you guys can also see. So behold. Of course, this is just only the face. Yes, I mean it. So what I've been doing now is actually making a sketch for the dreadful guy, and I put some lining in so that I know how to position the eyes soon, so that I know how to see where he needs to look, so I can then, once I'm done with the full sketch, I can then, draw over it and get this thing done. So that's how far I got already with the beautiful beautiful picture of dreadfulness. I really like how already it looks. And yeah, I'm very very excited how this is all going to be turning out. So I hope I see you all next time. Until then, I wish you all a lovely day. And yeah, until then. Yeah, until then. Bye, guys.